Aha, buongiorno. Alright, so we've got, I'm just walking around here in Sydney at the moment, so we've got like a load of stuff on GDPR, alright? So if you don't know what GDPR is, you've been under a rock, we just haven't like logged in and sort of seen what GDPR is, then this is for you. Right, so basically on May the 25th, alright, you now need to be compliant with the European directives, right, for privacy. Okay, so if you hold any data at all on any European person, even as an American company on American servers, right, you are still liable for looking after their data and keeping it like private. All right. Oh, is this my car? Hang on. This could be awkward. It's not my car. What the fuck is it? Oh, there it is. Right, well, that's embarrassing. All right. They're both white cars, don't judge me. All right, so back to it. I've been turning this bad boy on as well. All right, so that's the news, right? So GDPR's like coming. It's happening on May the 25th. It needs to be the gold standard for you, for your privacy policy. There's a couple of fixes that I've got, right? And I've been working on this as well because there's just loads of like confusion because it is such a sprawling fucking mess of like, what the fuck do we do? All right, not even fucking ClickFunnels has like got this shit sorted out. All right, so if you're using ClickFunnels, you're doubly fucked because there's no fucking like fix for that at the moment. All right, so the first thing you need to do is you need to have, right, a GDPR page on your website, right? So, you know, if you're running WordPress, right, just set up like a GDPR like page. That's the first thing you need to do. Have a look at PayPal, have a look at Hotjar is a good one. Have a look at their GDPR pages. MailChimp is another really good one. Have a look at their GDPR compliance pages, right? And basically model, copy and paste, right? I didn't say that. But basically have a look at their GDPR compliance pages, copy that, paste it onto your page, right? So that's the first thing you need to do. Tweak the wording for obviously yourselves, right? But that would basically save you a lot of like fucking arseache because those guys pay billions of dollars to lawyers, and then you've got like basically the framework there, all right? Next is all of the fucking pixels on your page, right? So this is so fucking bigly large and it's gonna fuck everybody, right? Yes, including you watching this. It's gonna fuck your ass and it's gonna fuck you hard, all right? This is the thing, all right? What you need to understand is that even if you're running Google Analytics, right, on your WordPress website or whatever website that you're using, all right, you can't even fire your Google Analytics pixel unless they expressly give you permission to do that. Let that sink in for a moment, right? So everyone's like up in arms about like Facebook privacy and like, hey, they're scraping my data. Oh, do fuck off, right? The bigger story here is like, as a European marketer, you are fucked, right, royally, if you're doing any business in the in the EU, right? And that's it's really big news. And you're like, oh, how come he's fucked? Well, the answer to that is you have no tracking, no visibility, no conversion pixels. So if you're an agency and you're trying to run adverts, right, for a client or multiple clients, all right, you are absolutely fucked if that client doesn't have the ability to have, like, yes, I agree to having these tracking pixels track me. Because privacy by default, this is an important phrase, privacy by default. Your page, right, your entire site, not just the page, the entire website of yours has to make sure that they are opted out as default for all of your pixels. That includes Google Analytics, includes your tag manager. But actually that's a lie, it doesn't include tag manager, that's an essential thing because it's what you put in the tag manager that's important. So no like Google Analytics, no Hotjar, no Facebook pixel. Yeah, that's right, no fucking Facebook pixel. Yo, how am I supposed to track my conversions? Well, fuck you, you can't have it, all right? Unless the client has ticked the box. That's right, they've got to tick a box, they've got to take an affirmative action, right, to say, yeah, sure, track me. How many fucking people do you think are going to go, yeah, no, that's great, yeah, no, track me, yeah, no, that's fantastic. Let me tell you, there's going to be a lot of fucking like small agency marketers, independent consultants that just basically have no fucking idea on this and they're going to go down like a sack of shit, all right? It's up to you as the business owner to make sure that you have express permission on your entire site to be able to like fire off all your different tracking pixels, okay? So that's the bad news. Good news is that, well, actually, no, there's not any good news, right? Because you've got a fuckload of work to do. Some of the stuff involved is like, let's say, for example, a customer has the right, all right, to have like all the information you've got on them. All right, so that's one of the prime directives. It's like, yeah, okay, well, you're a business and I'm coming to your site. Fucking send me all the information that you've got on me, right? And you have to comply with that within a 30-day period, right? A good period, let's say 30 days. You have to also give them all of the fucking information in a readable format. So it's it's not good to just get a fucking whole dump of data, right? And then go, puh, there you go, fuck you. Can't do that, all right? The directive, it says that you have to actually give it to them in a palatable form, right? It doesn't use the word palatable, but you have to give it to them in a readable form, right? So not only have you got to go through the admin fuckache of trying to get their information to start with, but then you actually got to like format it in such a way that they can read it, okay? So those of you that are using MailChimp, MailChimp are going to have tools to be able to do this. All right, but what you're going to have to do is like factor all this in on your GDPR page, right? Now, I reckon the easiest way of doing this so far, right, is to do two things. One is to have the GDPR page, right, but on there have buttons, all right, that basically says like a feedback form, all right? So have a feedback form which is like, what are you trying to do, all right? And have a drop down on there which basically says, look, I'm trying to do this, or, you know, like the drop down option might be delete my data. Another option would be to change my data. So they give their details, all right, and then there can be no pixels on that GDPR page in any way, shape or form, all right? It cannot. So not even Google Analytics. So have the feedback form on there. That comes into you. Make sure that you've tagged the answers, all right? So it comes into, let's say, your MailChimp, and then at least MailChimp can then notify you, perhaps, all right, that on an email again, that such and such has required this specific action to take place, all right? So at least you've got a fighting chance, as I say, a small business owner, to be able to get that information to them, right? Because let's say you're a competitor, and I would do this, all right? I would fuck a competitor hard, all right, on behalf of a client. I would do this, all right, because I'm like, well, I'm a bit of a cunt, to be quite honest, right, when it comes to this stuff. I would make hundreds, right? I'd make a bot. I would make hundreds of requests to people, all right, to basically like tie them up in knots with admin. So my competitors, like, you know, fucking gunning for you cunts, all right? Your competitors will likely like be thinking the same thing, all right? So again, now you need to have a capture on the form as well. All right, to make sure that you don't get like unnecessary stupid ass requests. All right, so a GDPR page, have a form on there, the answers that they give, all right, you need to tag the answers that they give, come back into your CRM, which then like, you know, does the processes for you. You can use something like Process Maker, processmaker.com, all right, so there's just loads of stuff like that. Now, there's one way of doing all of this. So like, yeah, Nath, that's all great. Fucking, it's the adpocalypse. Like, fuck me, what am I going to do? The easiest thing, and I'm working on a solution like this weekend. Mel, my programmer, like, he's awesome. I've like, mate, we need to do this, and he's coming up with a solution. But in the interim, what you can do, right, is you can say, right, it doesn't affect anybody outside of Europe, right? So what you could possibly do is start to clean your data, create a CRM list called GDPR compliant, right? And then basically have some sort of like form of pop-up, right, on the site before they fucking get into the site. This is important, right? That basically says, are you in the EU, yes or no, all right? So great, no worries. And if they say no, all right, great, no fucking problem. But if they say yes, then what you want to do is you want to tag those and move those details into the new list, and you want to send an autoresponder with a double opt-in that says, oh, hi, John, just adding you in for GDPR compliance, all right, and this is the first step we're taking, all right? Do you agree? So that autoresponder goes back out to them. At least then you've starting, right, to slice and dice your data in anticipation of, like, hopefully me bringing this tool out, all right? So, yeah, Kara's like, I'm ditching the UK and EU, fuck this. All right, don't ditch them. Just basically have this, like, pop up on the front screen. You could use WOW. I'm just saying, wowq.io. You could ask them, like, which country they're in. Or are they in Europe, yes or no, basically. That's the only fucking thing that you have to do. tag the answer yes or no, right, and then that will tag them in your database, which then can auto respond out and saying, you know, I'm a GDPR. More importantly, it's added those people to the GDPR compliant list. All right, so you can, and I'm not like doing this fucking live stream to like sell WOW QIO, right? Although fucking use it because it's awesome. But there is an immediate solution that you could put on there to at least start to slice and dice your audience. I just thought of that as I was doing the stream, to be fair. What else have you got to do? Now, here's the other thing as well, all right? So, not only have you got the right to be forgotten, you need to delete all the data, all right? Well, what does that fucking mean? Well, it basically means that you need to, like, remove them, right, from your CRM. As I say, ActiveCampaign has no fucking compliance on there at the moment. MailChimp, to its credit, is actually coming out with some GDPR tools, all right? I'm sure ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, and Infusionsoft will all come out with theirs as well, but there's nothing yet, right, that you can have. All right. Christy, would you stop them from going on your site? No, I wouldn't, because you can't stop them from coming on the site, all right? All it's basically saying is, like, you either come to the site and I track you, or you come to the site and I don't track you, all right? You can't do that. You can't just go, well, fuck you, you're not getting access to the site then. That's not going to fly, all right? What else? Also, underage. So the consent, here's another thing as well. So if you're basically having, some of you do have sites that kind of like go for under 16s, here's the other thing as well. The compliance, right? The explicit and express compliance, they say, yes, I give consent to be tracked and traced. Cannot be given, all right, for anyone that's under 16, all right? They have to go and get a grown-up, right, to okay that. And here's the thing, all right, another part of the compliance is that you have to, like, prove, okay, when, how, right, that you got the permission. All right, so the only thing you're going to be able to do on that is like track IP addresses, but you've got to fucking do it. You've got to track the IP address, and you've got to say, right, at 17:05, right, on the 23rd of May, all right, this IP address, like, clicked yes to tracking. All right, so that's the only thing that, like, mere mortals can do. All right. So, yeah, it's pretty hardcore, this whole GDPR, like, I swear to God, right, and I'm not understating this, or, like, there's no hyperbole, but this whole GDPR thing is going to absolutely rape the fuck out of the arses of, like, small agencies, and, like, independent contractors that basically do marketing for other companies, because it'll be on you. It'll be on you to make sure that you're working within the GDPR compliance, all right? So, yeah, like, there's so much stuff that's got to be done. And I have no idea at this moment in time, I have no idea how most companies, most small to medium-sized companies, are going to fucking comply with this. I'm working on it, I'm reading through it all, and as I come up with something, I will fucking stream it. But yeah. Matt, so can you have a pop-up asking for these permissions? Yep, and that's exactly, my friend, what I'm working on this weekend. I've spec'd it out with Mel. And then that'll be like, it'll be really fucking cool, all right? So yeah, it'll basically ask them, and then it will fire off your pixels, all right? So there'll be some automation, and there'll be a manual process, right, to set this all up. And if I pull the trigger on the project tomorrow, then I will make sure that it's like piss easy for you guys to follow. It's going to be paid. I'm going to charge you like a fucking wounded bull to do this, because it is such a pain in the arse, all right? But yeah, I've got a solution. How the hell does rolling IP then affect it? Very, very good question. Who the fuck has a static IP address these days as like a residential, like in like residential land? No one has a static IP address. Everyone's got dynamic IPs assigned by their ISP. Turn the router off, turn it back on again, got yourself another IP. Use your mobile, right? Got another fucking IP. It's just crazy bonkers. So the best you can do is show that you tried to comply, all right, and that's all you can do, all right? That's all you can do, right? So Simon, happy birthday! Thanks. It's my birthday. Who the fuck knew that I was going to make it to 45? I certainly didn't. Stupid shit that I've done. Is WOW Tool still happening? Yeah, fucking right it is. But in accordance with the GDPR. And the recent like Facebook meltdown, then Facebook have stopped actually approving any bot applications whatsoever. So you'll see that with ChatFuel and ManyChat. So we're kind of in the same boat. I don't really want to release it without Facebook, but yeah, it's a thing. So I'll make that decision later. Who's enforcing this? Well, basically any government. It's written so that any government within the EU, all right, can actually do the fining within their own country, right? So yeah, so the whole of the EU government, right, are enforcing this. This isn't some like bullshit like cookies thing, like, you know, do you consent to cookies? Here's another thing for you as well. I mentioned that you have to expressly and explicitly get a positive action. By default, all of your buttons for tracking should be set to off, right? So when the customer goes there, they're all turned off, and they turn on for the Google Analytics, they turn on for the marketing tracking, they turn on for, you get me? So they have to turn those on. Okay, that has to be a positive action that they do. But that's awesome, but like, yeah, you have to, who's enforcing this? Okay, so hang on, so, oh fuck, there's loads of questions. So this is every single place you collect emails. It's not just for emails, love, it's all for your tracking pixels. Hotjar, Crazy Egg, Facebook pixel, Twitter pixel, AdWords pixel, conversion pixels, every single piece of JavaScript pixels that you've ever put into your tag manager or put on to your closing header tag, alright, or before the closing header tag in WordPress, every single tracking pixel, alright, cannot be fired unless you have been given permission, all right? And when they hit your site, any page on your site, it has to be opted out by default, all right? So, yeah. So then Brexit excludes UK from GDPR. Very, very good question. No, I don't think it will. I think that Britain will be like, well, we'll take, because it's taken the best pieces of like everything. Of course, like Facebook told the UK government to fuck off. Yeah, we're not coming to like see your parliament. Get fucked. So you can imagine that like the punitive like measures that the UK are going to take against Facebook are going to be like, yeah, all right then, no problem. You said no then, Zucks, did you? All right then, Tiger, hold my fucking beer, because the first time that you like infringe on the GDPR, we're going to fuck you royally. All right, so yeah, it's going to be pretty hardcore. GDPR is implemented before the Brexit happens. Yeah, well, that's exactly right. Yeah, exactly, Nick. Nick's nailed it as well. Like May the 23rd of this year. So like, you know, in a couple of weeks' time, basically, the GDPR becomes law. All right. So, will UK opt out of it? I don't think so. I think that like they're monolithic and don't understand technology at the best of times. So, yeah. So there's a lot to take in. So, in summary, right? In summary, this is what I would do. All right. GDPR, is it related to the right to be forgotten? Yeah, fucking right it is. And in fact, that's one of the pivotal things, right? So you need to have like the options for changing data, the options to forget the data, delete the data, stale data needs to be updated. And if you're going to do it en masse, if like say you were going to apply a tag, right, to everyone's data, right, on a particular list, right, just as something innocuous, like you're going to have to do a mass change to the data, then again, you have to fucking notify everybody on that list, right, that they're having their data changed, why and how it's going to happen, right? So just something as innocuous as going, well, fuck, I'll just add this like tag in ActiveCampaign to this entire list. Nah, you got to basically like send the email out, or you got to notify everybody on that list the reason as to why you're doing that and what you're doing. All right, so yeah. GDPR is related to all aspects of personal data. Yeah, the storage of it, the transmission of it, the manipulation of it. What are you going to do? Why are you like taking it in the first place? How long are you keeping it for? And that's what you need to do. Right? So yeah, get a GDPR page. So like, you know, oh, stuff I could do this weekend, Nath. Stuff you can do. Get yourself like on WordPress a GDPR compliance page. Right? So set up a page on WordPress, call it GDPR. Right? There you go. Next, get your fucking form of choice. Use wowq.io. Get a form on that page, all right? So have a look at like Hotjar, have a look at like fucking PayPal, have a look at MailChimp's GDPR, have a look at all of their text, copy that text, go through it with a fine-tooth comb, make it your own text, all right? And then basically put it on the page, all right? I'm not a lawyer, but that's how I would do it, right? What you then do is you have a big fucking button there that says like click, all right? And then it brings up the wowq.io form, right? Which basically says, are you in the EU or not? Yes or no, all right? And then you can tag in wowq.io whether they're European or not. All right, and then what happens is you can then put that in your ActiveCampaign with the tag, all right, have your autoresponders ready to go that basically does the double opt-in, gets sent out to the people that have been tagged in the UK, right, or in Europe, and it basically has that double opt-in that basically says, look, this is the first part of my GDPR compliance, right, I really appreciate if you opt in, right, I'm not going to spam you, I'm not going to fuck you, all right, but just click the button, say yes, all right, so then you've got like a new list, all right, of people that have double opted in on GDPR compliance from the EU, all right? At least you can start to slice and dice your data. Now, it ain't perfect, but it's like something is better than fucking nothing right now. All right, I'll have more news as it unfolds. But use wowq.io to ask that question. Not that I'm pitching you. I am. All right, any other questions before I fuck off? Right, blah, 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 blah. Nick's like basically saying, yeah, breaching the GDPR, 20 million euros in fines or 4% of global turnover. Look, it is that bad. It's not going to be for like little small companies. I'm sure there's going to be some flexibility in there built in, all right? But ignorance is no fucking defense, as you know, all right? So, yeah, you might as well fucking like take the bull by the horns right now. What else have we got? David Markovich, right, if you don't know old mate David, he's like from the Online Geniuses. I learn more from Online Geniuses Slack group than I ever do on Facebook or fucking seminars. It's full of cunts normally. So, yeah, have a look at Online Geniuses, get in touch with David. I think last time I did that, out of like all the fucking thousands of people that follow me, I think there's about 3 people that went, what Nathan said is really great. And now they're actually members of Online Geniuses. That's where I learn stuff. So, yeah, fucking get in there. Let's have a look. Jerry Smart is watching. Hello, I need to come up your way. Haven't seen you for fucking ages, and we're due for a coffee. What else have we got? Lynn, what a load of like bugger aboutery. Yeah, it is. But here's the fucking thing, right? And this is what like most people at the moment are like. It doesn't bother me. I do most of my business in the US. Like whatever. Like. Yeah, but if there's a chance that like a European person can get onto your email lists, well, guess what, fuckhead? You're now under the fucking remit of GDPR. So you might as well embrace it now and make it the gold standard as to what you do. Because it's not going to go away, right? And more more countries will then pick up on this and go, fuck yeah, we should implement the same thing. There's a framework in Europe, we should copy it. Right, so you might as well get this shit together now. And of course, like the whole Facebook PR meltdown has happened. I'm surprised that Google's not in the cross sites yet, but I'm sure they will be. Then, yeah, you might as well fucking like take the bull by the horns now. GDPR will basically become like mandated around the world, all right? Same as like all countries around the world start to like crack down on Bitcoin, all right? Same sort of thing, all right? Well, it's going to be the same thing with data privacy for the citizens, all right? What else? Blah, 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 blah. Tanya, if you rename a tag, does that happen as well? Possibly, all right? I don't know the honest answer to that, all right? I'm not a lawyer, but if you change a tag, then no, all right? If you rename it, I'd put my balls on the line and say, no, I think you'll be okay. But if you manipulate the data and you add a new tag to it, I would say that falls under the remit. I'm not a lawyer. We should get a fucking GDPR lawyer on here, actually, and do something. So we can actually ask him and, you know, in like normal fucking like everyday language as to like, you know, your questions. That's actually a really good idea. I reckon that people should pay for that as well, for that fucking webinar, so we can all chip in to get that lawyer. If you think that's a good idea, fucking just say yes, or just go lawyer. All right, that would be a good idea. All right, if I get enough people, I'll go and find a GDPR lawyer. All right. What else have we got? Blah, 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 blah. All right, so, yeah, I'm in the car right now. The air conditioning's on. I'm in Sydney at the moment. So, how much is WOW, Nate? It's 147 of your US dollars. All right, so just go and buy it because it's fucking brilliant. Well, actually, if you want that, if you want a fucking discount on WOW, just, like, type WOW below as well, and I'll send you a fucking discount code. I'm not pitching WOW in any way, shape or form, alright, but it lends itself so fucking well to this task that I'm sort of come up with, and I only sort of thought about that as I was in the car, alright, so create a WOW form, tag the answers like, are you in the UK or are you in Europe, yes or no, alright, set up 2 tags. If they say yes, tag it as like GDPR, alright, not GDPR if they say no, alright, those tags can then sync directly into ActiveCampaign or MailChimp, alright, and then at least you've got like a fighting chance of firing off your fucking autoresponders. So wowq.io would be fucking awesome for like your GDPR stuff. It's really, really good. Anyway, what else have we got? I hate pitching my own shit. It just makes me feel really icky. Yep, Nick Smith is... Nick's like really fucking on the case. Thanks ever so much for being on this. I really appreciate you being on this live. David Markovich, onlinegeniuses.com. Tell them that Nathan sent you. All right, just fucking do that. What's the opportunity for new software that could be from this? Oh, my friend, you weren't there at the start of this little fucking like Facebook Live, but you and I should talk because I'm actually creating a motherfucking tool this weekend about that, if I pull the trigger. Paul, confused. Website visitor not on your list and not signing up still has to give permission to tag firing. Paul, yes, 100%. You can't even fire your Google Analytics pixel unless they okay it. All right, hardcore, right? You might sound like a little bit like fuck off, Nate. That's not true. It is true. Can't even fire your analytics, mate. Yeah, lawyer. All right, excellent. So there's loads of people saying lawyer. That's awesome. Alright, I actually made a video with a GDPR specialist last year. Don't want any specialists, alright? Want actual fucking lawyers. You know, guys in funny wigs and fucking gowns. I want someone to basically be on record as we ask the fucking questions to them, right? So, quite happy to, like, spend the money. Like, if everyone, like, thinks it's a good idea and they want a GDPR lawyer, and all of you fucking do, right? Then basically, as I say, like, put the word lawyer here. If you want, like, the WOW, like, discount code, type in WOW as well. Alright, Nick's got another one. If anyone's using WordPress, there's plugins. Yep, mine's going to be in there as well. Mine's really fucking cool. 147 a month. No, it's a one-off price. I hate doing that, like, ongoing stuff. It's like, only does fucking one task. Shut up. Like, so, yeah, no, it's just a one-off fee. Alright. What else have we got? Alright, yeah, okay, awesomes, alright, thank you so much, like, I really appreciate that. Alright, any other questions, okay? There's a really fucking cool blog, alright, and it was written by one of the guys in Online Geniuses, alright? So, if you go and join, this is true, if you go into onlinegeniuses.com, say that Nathan sent you, the link is in that fucking group, and it has been shared thousands of times, and it was written by one of the guys in Online Geniuses. So it's very much worth. It's where I learn my stuff from. All right, I like to feel dumb. All right, and it's the one place on the whole internet that makes me feel like a bit of a knob. All right, so yeah. All right, anybody else? Anybody else got any more questions? Because I'm gonna like Foxtrot Oscar if there's not. All right, so. There you go, like some GDPR shit. So I'll keep you updated. Get yourself like your WOW queue. Type in WOW queue if you want the discount code. If you want the lawyer, all right, the GDPR lawyer, and you want to be able to like ask him on a paid webinar. I'm not doing that one for fucking free. All right, put the lawyer, all right, in the comments. And if you want to like go to onlinegeniuses.com, that's where Nathan feels a bit of a like a fucking bell end. All right, so you need to go in there. Say that Nathan sent you. All right, David's got one more question. What have you got there, my friend? My brother from another mother. My mum's dead actually, but anyway, go on, go ahead. So everyone's got like, oh, thanks ever so much for your interest in WowQ. I properly appreciate that. All right, so David, TikTok motherfucker. All right, how does cold email from GDPR? How do you mean? How does cold email from GDPR? What do you mean by that? That's like, that's not even English. Is English your third language there? I don't know. Last time I spoke to you, you were in a fucking like Panama. Nick, come over to Panama. Yeah, all right then. I'm in Phuket. You should be here. No, fuck you. I'm in Panama. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Cold email from GDPR. You cannot send cold email, right, without because they haven't opted in. They haven't opted in to like receiving stuff from you. All right. So no, you can't take an old, a cold email list, a list that you've purchased, for example, right? Here's a practical example of that. I don't have the fucking answer to this. This is why that, like, I think we should do a paid webinar with an actual GDPR lawyer. I don't want to make any money on it. I just want to basically everyone to chip in because I feel like it's going to be a fucking 2-hour webinar at least, all right? So to answer your question, right, David, if you purchase a list, right, of emails, that's gone. Like, fuck off. Like, you can't now go and buy lists of emails. So list brokers, what the fuck's going to happen with them? Credit reference agencies, you are not allowed to like store any fucking details on someone unless they actually opted in. So what about credit reference agencies? What's going to happen with their business models? Criminal record checks, like fucking who's going to do a criminal record check? Because you can't keep any data on their criminal activity, all right? You can't do it. So what the fuck? So yeah, very hardcore. So email lists, purchase email lists or cold email lists, you're not going to be able to send them because they haven't opted in to receiving shit from you. So each one of those is like a fine. Each one of those emails. Woo! All right, so yeah, Johnson & Johnson needs the webinar. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's some really fucking like big companies out there as well that could really do with like watching the webinar, I feel. And if that's the case, and we're going to get Online Geniuses, I think we should do it under the Online Geniuses banner, to be quite honest, David. So yeah, it should be a paid webinar, or it should be just for people that have like come into like the Online Geniuses. All right, because that displays a level of like, you know, they're not tire kickers. I think if you actually join the onlinegeniuses.com and you're actually in that group, I think that shows a level of like, you know, you've gone beyond the basics, you know what I mean? So yeah, maybe that. All right, guys, I am out of here. Thanks ever so much for your interest, and right, I'm gonna go get a coffee now. So yeah, love each and every single one of you. #plur. I'm a 45-year-old bloke, fuck me.